Dak Prescott is officially the MVP frontrunner in the NFL, and it is very clear-cut in my opinion. Honestly, I did not expect this to happen whatsoever this season. Dak Prescott being an MVP candidate is something that blows my mind, and honestly, right now, he's the frontrunner. Ever since like week 6, he's really just been balling out of control. I mean, this man has been playing some great football recently at the quarterback position, and honestly, I'm here to talk about it on today's video, because man, I'm really excited to see this, because man, Dak is doing some great things. But before we get into it, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and let me know who you guys think of MVP is in the NFL right now, because honestly right now I got Dak Prescott. So let's get straight into it. Honestly, Dak Prescott started the season off pretty slow. First game of the season, they played the Giants. They blew them out 40-0, but Dak really didn't have any great stats. I mean, he had 143 passing yards and no passing touchdowns, but you know, they still won the game. But it was mostly due to Tony Pollard and the defense coming in clutch. And to be honest with you guys, Dak really didn't start playing at this MVP level until after the bye week. But before we just jump straight into that and what Dak has been doing recently, and of course after the bye week, there's one game that we must talk about. Week 2 versus the New York Jets. Now this game is very important in my opinion for multiple reasons. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys won this game, and also Dak's performance in this game. It was definitely huge for a lot of reasons, of course, and I'm about to dive into that real quick. Quarterbacks this year, when they have faced the New York Jets defense, has been an absolute nightmare for QBs having to play against this defense. It has been all around horrible performances. And Dak, well, here's the crazy thing about it. Dak actually had a pretty good performance versus an elite New York Jets defense, which has been terrifying for quarterbacks, like I said. Dak ended up having 255 passing yards, a completion percentage of 81.6, and 2 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions thrown. And honestly, you know, that's something you got to take into consideration for the MVP award in my opinion. I mean, dicing up an elite defense like the New York Jets defense, because like I said, no other quarterback has really done this to the New York Jets defense like this. The Jets defense, like I said, has been all around terrifying for quarterbacks, but you know what? Dak diced it up and he played a great game. Now it's time to talk about what Dak has done after the bye week, because this man has been shredding defenses, and the Cowboys offense has been phenomenal since then. So as soon as the Cowboys came out the bye week, they went ahead and played a game on Sunday versus the Los Angeles Rams, and man, Cowboys offense was on fire, and so was Dak Prescott. He ended up having 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception. This man was all around balling. In my opinion, this was the best game that I saw from the Cowboys offense at this point in the season. They were truly balling out, and man, honestly, it did not stop there. This Cowboys offense just kept rolling and rolling. Next week, Dak and the Cowboys would kind of have a tough matchup. They'd have to go ahead and play the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, but Dak still had a great game. 375 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he played as best as he probably could play this game, but you know, in the end, the Cowboys would end up losing this game, but the Cowboys have not lost the game since this game right here, and man, Cowboy fans would probably be like, there was a ton of questionable penalties at the end of the game. The ending of the game was all around wild, but the Cowboys would end up taking a loss right here, and honestly, Dak took it personal going into the next week, as you can see by his stats. He would play the New York Giants at home in Dallas, and man, when you play the Cowboys at home in Dallas, you need to send a prayer for yourself, because holy crap, Dak Prescott would end up having 404 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and that's kind of how the Cowboys have been at home this year. They've just been all around just destroying teams, and honestly, this game right here was Dak's best performance this season. I mean, these are MVP numbers right here. And the next week, they'd play a game at Carolina, which Dak kind of slowed down, so you'd only end up having 189 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, but you know what? You got to give some credit to the Panthers defensive coordinator right here for somehow losing 33-10, but Dak only having 189 passing yards, because man, he kind of contained them, but they would end up still losing the game 33-10. And then the next week, they would have to go ahead and play the Washington Commanders on Thanksgiving, and Dak said, you guys saw last week, I can play even better. 331 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and an all-around dominant win over the Washington Commanders. As usual, what he does with NFC East teams, he does whatever he wants with them, and he plays some great games versus them, and the Cowboys kind of own the NFC East with Dak Prescott, I'm not gonna lie. The next week, they'd play another game on Thursday night versus Seattle Seahawks, and Dak would have another great game. 3 passing touchdowns, almost 300 yards with 299. This game was all around a great Thursday night game, I'm not gonna lie. The Seahawks offense was electric with DK Metcalf, Dak would answer, and just all around, it was a great game, but the Cowboys would go ahead and end up winning this one, Dak having another MVP game in my opinion. And then his most recent win this Sunday versus the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Now this game was very important for the NFL playoffs coming up in this January. If the Cowboys were to win this game, the Cowboys would move up to the 2 seed in the NFC, and the Eagles would move down to the 5 seed, but of course if the Philadelphia Eagles won, they pretty much would have the NFC East locked up if they went ahead and won out the rest of the year. That didn't happen. I have no idea what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. The offense looks kind of lost. They're having some turnover problems with fumbles, and the defense is looking kind of questionable, but you know what? Dak had another good game in my opinion, and with this game, he now leads the NFC East, and the Cowboys are now in first. Dak ended up having 271 passing yards and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions thrown. And this man was making some great throws, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, just look at this throw right here. That's a great throw right there. I mean, just wow, man. And with this game, and with the Cowboys on this insane winning streak, and Dak playing like an MVP level candidate, in my opinion, and me personally, like I said at the beginning of the video, I think Dak is the MVP right now. Now, one of the reasons why some people don't believe that Dak Prescott is the MVP in the NFL right now is, well, he was playing some weak teams, I'm not gonna lie. The Panthers, the Giants, the Commanders, but you know what? Well, of course, Dak will go ahead and beat the Philadelphia Eagles last week, which I know the Eagles haven't been looking like the Super Bowl dominant team that they were last year, but they still have a record of 10-3, so they're still a good team in my opinion. And the games that they have to play in the upcoming weeks are going to be tough teams as well to beat in my opinion. It's not going to be such of a cakewalk, and I think Dak is going to go ahead and prove why he should be considered as the MVP this year. Next week, Dak has to go ahead and play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. This game's going to be very interesting in my opinion. The Bills have been looking better, but you know what? I think this game's going to be a great one. It's going to be a close one too in my opinion, but I think Dak and the Cowboys can continue their win streak right here. And then after that, a game on Christmas Eve versus the Miami Dolphins. This game's going to be really tough as well for them. This is going to be a really good matchup with the two offenses, and the Miami Dolphins defense has been really better with Jalen Ramsey, so Dak can go ahead and cook up on this defense too. It proves it even more. And then after that, he has to play a game versus the Detroit Lions. You know, the Lions defense has been kind of mid this year, I'm not gonna lie, but if they were to beat the Lions, that's another good team that they have beaten. And then they close out the season versus the Commanders. They could be resting their starters at this point. I'm not too worried about this game if Dak plays or not. But yeah, like I said, Dak has been playing great. Right now, he has 3,505 yards, which is 4th in the NFL, 28 passing touchdowns, that's first right now. He only has 6 interceptions, and last year and years before, it was a big problem with them interceptions, and right now in the season, he only has 6. And he has a QBR of 74.6, which is also 2nd in the NFL right now. Dak has been playing out of his mind. Now, also, yes, I know the video is titled, and I really want to talk about Dak a lot and why I think right now he's the MVP. Let me talk about the other candidates right now and why I don't think they should go ahead and win the award. Tyreek Hill, I'm going to talk about him because I would honestly love for Tyreek to win the award. It would be a great thing for the sport, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think Tyreek's going to win the award unless he gets 2,000 yards. It's just how the MVP award has been. It's been a quarterback award, as you can see, over the last few years. The only reason why I think Tyreek could go ahead and win MVP, he would have to eclipse 2,000 yards. That's the only way in my opinion. I just don't think the NFL really views it as that. He would probably go ahead and win Offensive Player of the Year, of course. And then another guy is we have Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers. Him and Dak's stats are pretty close. I mean, Brock is 3rd in passing yards. He has 25 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he has the best QBR in the NFL. And man, it's a pretty tight race between those two in my opinion, but something that people take into consideration is the 49ers kind of have an Avenger squad, I'm not gonna lie. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, some people like to discredit Brock for that in my opinion, which I guess that's something you can take into consideration, but in my opinion, I'd take Dak over him because I feel like Dak is more valuable to the Dallas Cowboys than Brock Purdy is. Now, don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy is a great quarterback, but let's be honest for a second, there's a lot of quarterbacks that could go in that system and still ball out. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo did it for years, and look at Jimmy G with the Raiders now. He's all around awful. No hate to Brock Purdy whatsoever though, I love the guy, but you know, no discredit to Brock Purdy at all. I love the guy, but you know, that's also something you got to talk about. Who is most valuable to the NFL right now and to their team? And then we have CJ Stroud. In my opinion, a few weeks ago, I thought Stroud was going to go ahead and take home the award, but his run is kind of ending. I mean, he got hurt versus the New York Jets and his numbers have kind of gone down, but it's going to be a tight race. But right now, Stroud's probably like 3rd or 4th in the race right now. So yeah, as of right now, I feel like the race is really tight between Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and maybe Tyreek Hill if he hits 2,000 yards. But in my opinion right now, it's Dak Prescott. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys have Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy or Tyreek Hill or someone else winning the award right now? Who do you have as MVP in the NFL right now? If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It is very much appreciated. Watch this video right here on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. He's been playing better. And watch this video right here on the Denver Broncos and the comeback they have made this year. We've seen some great things from Sean Payton and Russell Wilson so far. And I will see you guys in the next video.